The queen falls from the sky. The sky was quiet. Then, a loud boom. Ethan jerked his head up from the fire he had made. He was sitting deep in the woods, far from the town where no one came. A hunter. A quiet man. He liked to be alone. But the sky had changed. Something had fallen. A burning light flew across the sky like a shooting star, but much bigger and faster. It crashed in the forest not far from him. The trees shook. Birds screamed. The ground trembled under his boots. Ethan grabbed his rifle and ran. The forest was dark, and the smoke guided him like a black finger in the sky. When he reached the crash site, his eyes widened. A spaceship. A real one. Not human. Alien. The silver metal was torn apart, glowing red from heat. Wires hung out like dying snakes. A blue light blinked weakly near the back of the ship. He stepped closer. His heart raced. This was something he had never seen before, not even in war. He heard movement, a sound of pain. Behind a broken panel, something shifted. Ethan raised his rifle. Then he saw her. She was not human, but she was beautiful. Tall. Skin like silver. Long hair glowing faintly, like moonlight. Her eyes were half closed. She was bleeding. Dark, purple blood running from her arm and her side. Her clothing was torn, royal-looking, but dirty from the crash. She tried to move, but fell to her knees. Ethan dropped his weapon and rushed to her. "Hey, don't move, you're hurt." She looked up slowly, eyes glassy. Her voice was soft but sharp like broken glass. "You are forbidden to touch me, human," she whispered. And then she collapsed. Ethan caught her before she hit the ground. He didn't care about rules. He didn't care about her warning. Someone was dying, and he wasn't going to let her die. He picked her up. She was light like holding smoke. He turned and began walking back to his cabin. The forest was dark, but his steps were fast. She was cold in his arms. Her blood was soaking into his shirt. She was shivering. "Stay awake," he whispered. "Don't give up." But she didn't respond. Ethan pushed open the door to his cabin and laid her on the bed. The room was small, wooden walls, old tools, hunting gear on the shelves. He lit the lantern. The yellow light showed her face. She was still breathing, but barely. He grabbed a towel, water, and a small box of medical supplies. She needed help now. He rolled up her sleeve carefully. The wound on her arm was deep. Her side was worse. Something had pierced her, maybe during the crash. He reached for the bandages. Suddenly, her hand caught his wrist. She opened her eyes. "You don't understand," she whispered. "You cannot touch the Queen's blood. It is forbidden. You will be hunted." Ethan looked into her glowing eyes. "I don't care," he said, and he began cleaning her wound. She stared at him in shock. No one had ever disobeyed her order. No one had dared. "You're not from Earth, are you?" Ethan said, tying a bandage around her side. She didn't answer. She looked away. She was too weak, but she was alive. Ethan sat beside her and watched as she finally slept, her chest rising and falling slowly. Outside, the smoke from the ship still rose, but the night had gone quiet again. He had no idea who she really was, no idea what touching her blood meant. But one thing was clear. This alien woman, this queen, had fallen from the sky. Bleeding. Betrayed. Afraid. And now she was in his care. The queen woke up gasping. Her eyes flew open, glowing faintly in the dim light of the cabin. She sat up too fast, pain shooting through her body. She grabbed her side and winced. Ethan turned from the fireplace. He had been boiling water and cutting herbs. He rushed to her side. "Easy. You're still hurt?" he said softly. She stared at him, confused and afraid. "Where am I?" Her voice was sharper now, regal, stronger. "My cabin. You crashed near here. I pulled you out," Ethan answered. She looked down at her arm. Clean bandages wrapped the wound. Her side was also covered. Her silver robe had been carefully folded beside the bed. He had touched her, cleaned her blood, wrapped her body in cloth. "You touched my blood, she whispered, horrified. Ethan nodded. You would have died. She closed her eyes. You don't understand, she said, her voice shaking. In my people's law, a queen's blood must never be touched by outsiders. It is sacred. Anyone who touches it must be destroyed, even if they saved your life, Ethan asked. Especially if they saved my life. She stood up, swaying slightly. Ethan reached to steady her, but she pulled away fast. Do not touch me again, she snapped. He raised both hands in peace. All right, but I'm not letting you die just because of some rule. You don't get it, she said. If they find me here and see what you've done, they will burn your home, they will burn you. Ethan's face stayed calm. Let them try. The queen blinked. She had expected fear, obedience, not this. Why? She asked. Why risk your life for me? Because you needed help. Simple. Her face changed. Confusion. Then silence. That night she sat near the fire, wrapped in one of Ethan's old coats. She didn't speak much, but her eyes scanned every corner of the cabin, every door, every sound outside. She was expecting someone, or something. Ethan cooked soup. The smell filled the room. I don't know what your people eat, he said, handing her a bowl. But it's warm. She took it slowly, sipped it once, then twice. Then her body relaxed just a little. It was the first warmth she had felt since the crash. What's your name? Ethan asked. She paused. I am Queen, Saraka of the Arillan Empire. Ethan raised an eyebrow. A real queen. Yes, she said, but I'm no longer on my throne. He nodded. Then let's just say Saraka, for now. She gave him a strange look. You're strange, human. He smiled. I've been told worse. Later that night, she stood at the window. Something is coming, she whispered. Ethan walked up beside her. What? She pointed at the sky. The trackers in my blood. They've already alerted the Empire. They know I survived. They will come, but not to rescue me. Ethan frowned. Then, why? To kill me, she said, because I know too much. Ethan stepped back. They betrayed you? She nodded. My own blood, my own sister. She wants the throne for herself. Then we'll be ready, Ethan said, loading bullets into his old rifle. Saraka turned to him slowly. You don't owe me anything, she said. You can walk away, hide, leave me. Ethan stared back, calm and firm. I don't leave people to die, not even alien queens. She looked at him for a long time. For the first time, someone had broken the law. Not to hurt her, but to save her. And now, she didn't know how to feel. Outside the cabin, in the deep shadows of the forest. Tiny, red lights blinked in the dark. Something had arrived, something not human. The next morning, Ethan stepped out of the cabin. The forest was quiet, too quiet. No birds, no wind. Just the heavy silence that made his skin crawl. He scanned the sky. It was cloudy, but not natural. Something hummed above the clouds. He could feel it in his bones. A low, deep vibration in the air. He walked back inside. They're here, Saraka said before he could speak. Ethan looked at her. She sat straight, her hand gripping the armrest of the chair he had given her. Her glowing eyes didn't blink. They sent hunter ships, she said. Silent ones. They fly above. The trees, they won't attack yet, and they're watching. How many? Ethan asked. 3, maybe more. They don't come to talk. They come to finish what the traitors started. Ethan checked his rifle. Loaded. Ready. You're not safe here anymore, he said. Saraka stood. She looked better, stronger, but her wounds still slowed her. She picked up the long coat he had given her and wrapped it around herself. I should leave. I shouldn't bring death to your doorstep. Ethan shook his head. It's too late. They already know. Just then, A sound came from above. A metallic screech, almost like a scream, echoed across the trees. The windows shook. The fire in the hearth flickered. Soraka grabbed the edge of the table. "That's a scan beam," she said. "They've locked onto my blood." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we give them something to think about." They rushed outside. Ethan took Soraka to the old bunker beneath his cabin. It was left from war days, reinforced steel and deep underground. "Safe. You'll stay here," he said. "It's not much, but they won't see you through the trees and dirt." Soraka looked at the metal walls. "You'll fight them alone?" "I've fought worse," he said with a half smile. She stepped closer, her voice lowered. "If you die out there, I won't survive either." "Then let's make sure we both live," Ethan said. And then, he left her there. Above the treetops, the alien hunter ship hovered silently. Sleek, black, and shaped like a blade, it cut through clouds without sound. Red lights blinked underneath. Inside, masked aliens in armor watched the screen. A blinking red dot showed the Queen's location. "She's here. The traitor. Has the human touched her?" "Yes. His DNA is on her blood. Then by law, he dies too." Ethan stood at the edge of the clearing, rifle in hand, staring up at the shadows. "I don't care who you are," he said out loud. "She's under my roof now. You want her? You'll have to go through me." The wind shifted. A red beam scanned across the ground, stopping just inches from Ethan's feet. Then came the voice. "Step aside, human. You are unclean. You touched what was sacred. Your death is required." Ethan didn't move. "She was bleeding, dying. I saved her life. And broke the law of the crown." "Then your law's broken," Ethan growled. A second later, the ship fired. A bolt of plasma hit the ground near Ethan, exploding dirt and fire into the air. Ethan dove behind a tree, rolled, and aimed. He fired a round straight at the ship. It bounced off, harmless. "Damn," he muttered. "Too thick." He ran. The forest was his ally now. He moved fast between trees, drawing fire, dodging red beams. The ship couldn't target him clearly. Inside the bunker, Soraka could feel the earth shake above her. She clenched her jaw. Every instinct told her to stay hidden, but every beat of her heart screamed go to him. Finally, she stood. She opened the hatch and climbed out. Ethan was out of breath. He slid behind a log and reloaded. The ship hovered, turning slowly. Then it started to descend. It was going to land. He had no more cover. But then, a second voice rang through the air. "Enough!" Everyone stopped. Even the ship paused. The Queen stood in the open, wind blowing through her hair, blood still on her robes, but her chin was high. "I am Queen Soraka, daughter of the stars. I command you to leave." The ship replied, "You are fallen. You are marked. You are no longer queen." She raised her hand. A glowing emblem appeared, her royal mark, faint but still alive. "I say otherwise." Behind her, Ethan stepped forward. "She's under my protection." The aliens hesitated. One final voice whispered in their ears. "Stand down. For now." We returned to the council. The ship lifted, slowly, then vanished into the clouds. Ethan and Soraka stood in the silence. "You risked your life," she said. "So did you," he replied. Their eyes met. For a moment, it felt like something had changed. The forest was quiet, again. But something was wrong. Ethan and Soraka sat inside the cabin. She looked fine on the outside, strong, proud, her head held high. But Ethan noticed it. Her hand trembled. Her face was pale. She hadn't touched her food. He leaned forward. "You're still hurting." "I've had worse," she said. "That's not what I asked." She didn't reply. She stood and moved toward the window. Outside, the wind blew through the trees, and the scent of burned wood still lingered in the air. Then, without warning, she stumbled. Ethan caught her just before she hit the ground. Her body shook with pain. "That's it," he said, lifting her into the chair. "Tell me what's really going on." Soraka clenched her jaw. "It's not the wounds you see," she whispered. "There's something inside me. A device, a tracker. And something worse." Ethan froze. "Inside you?" She nodded. "It was placed there by my sister's order. Before the attack, it sends signals. Not just to track me, but to poison me slowly. A way to make me suffer before death." Ethan's eyes widened. "You've been dying this whole time?" "Yes," she said quietly. "It was meant to kill me within days." Ethan took a deep breath. "Where is it?" She looked at him, scared for the first time. "Near my heart. If you try to remove it, I might not survive." "And if I don't try?" he asked. "I'll die anyway." Ethan stood and walked to the cupboard. He pulled out a small med kit, old but clean. Tools for stitching, for cutting, for survival. "I've never worked on alien bodies," he said, "but I've done enough field surgery on humans." Soraka gave him a small, tired smile. "Then let's gamble with fate." He laid her gently on the bed. Her breathing slowed. "Don't touch the wrong bone. My ribs are not like yours." He nodded, studying the area she pointed to, a faint glow under her skin just above her heart. "That's it," she said. "The poison core. It's small, but deadly." Ethan took out a sharp scalpel. "I'll go slow." He made a tiny cut. Her skin opened like silk, smooth but strange. Not like human flesh, lighter, cooler. The glow pulsed beneath the surface. Soraka gasped, but didn't cry out. She gripped the sheets tightly. "I've got it," Ethan whispered. Carefully, with steady hands, he used his tweezers to reach in. The device was small, black, oval-shaped, and pulsing with a dim red light. Wires wrapped around tissue like thorns. "Your sister really didn't want you to live," he muttered. "Jealousy runs deeper than blood," she whispered. Ethan cut the wires. The red glow stopped. He pulled it out slowly and dropped it into a metal tray. The moment it left her body, Soraka exhaled deeply and fell unconscious. Ethan cleaned the wound, stitched it, and covered it with soft bandages. Then he sat beside her, watching, waiting. Hours passed. The night grew cold. Rain began tapping on the windows. Then finally, her fingers twitched. She opened her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. "You're alive," Ethan said softly. She reached out, weak but sincere, and touched his hand. "I was taught that no human hand should ever touch royal blood," she said. "But your touch gave me life. Twice." Ethan looked at her hand resting on his. "I don't care what law says," he said. "If they come again, I'll fight for you." Her eyes filled with something new. Not fear, not pride, but something very close to hope. Outside, far in the stars, a signal blinked on a cold screen. The poison device had been removed. The Empire knew. A voice hissed in the shadows. "Prepare the final strike. The human has become a threat." Soraka sat by the window, a blanket over her shoulders. She stared at the trees, quiet and deep in thought. Her wound was healing. The pain had lessened. But her heart, it felt strange. Lighter. Confused. Behind her, Ethan fixed a kettle on the fire. The cabin was peaceful, but something had changed between them. It started the night he removed the tracker, when he touched her bare skin, when his fingers brushed the sacred blood near her heart. Soraka hadn't told him yet. Not the full truth. There was one final law, a law older than her throne, a law that would change everything. "You should know," she said, finally breaking the silence. "In my people's history, there is an ancient bond." Ethan looked over his shoulder. "What kind of bond?" She turned to face him. Her glowing eyes were serious. "If a human touches the Queen's blood in a moment of death, and does so willingly, something awakens, an old connection." Ethan frowned. What kind of connection? She stood and stepped closer. A life bond. A sacred link. It was created long ago during the first contact between our kind. It was meant to unite two leaders, but it became forbidden after one human king refused to bow to the empire. And now? Ethan asked quietly. Now. Your touch has triggered it. Ethan's heart beat faster. What does that mean? It means I am no longer just a queen, she whispered, and you are not just a human. She lifted her hand. Between them, a soft blue light shimmered, like a thread of energy connecting her chest to his. It pulsed with their heartbeats. Ethan stepped back, startled. I didn't mean to. I know, she said gently. But the bond doesn't care about intent. It only reacts to truth. You risked everything to save me. And now, our lives are tied. He looked at the glowing thread between them. So, we're stuck? She nodded. If I die, you feel it. If you die, I feel it. Our bodies may survive, but our souls, they're bound until one heart stops. Ethan sat down slowly, staring at the fire. This is a lot. I warned you not to touch me, she said with a half smile. Now you know why. He chuckled, dryly. Well, I never followed rules very well. That night they sat by the fire in silence. They didn't speak of war or betrayal, not of her sister or the empire, not of death, only quiet, only the strange warmth between them. It felt like peace, but it wouldn't last. Far above, in the skies beyond Earth's clouds, a sleek warship hovered silently. Inside, generals of the Arillan Empire watched the readings. On the bond has formed, one said. He must be eliminated, another growled. No, the eldest one said. Killing him now will kill her. She is still valuable. Then what? The elder narrowed his eyes. Bring him to us. Break the bond. In front of her, make her watch. That will shatter her spirit and her throne. Back on Earth, Ethan woke up with a sharp pain in his chest. He gasped. Soraka screamed. The thread between them had flashed red for just a second. Burning, warning, alive. They've locked on, she whispered, holding her heart. They know about the bond, and now they'll come for you. The bond still glowed faintly between them, soft blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. But now it no longer brought comfort. It was a target, a signal, a weakness. Ethan paced across the wooden floor of the cabin. His mind raced. They're not coming for you anymore. They're coming for me. Soraka stood still by the door, her hand resting over her chest where the bond thread touched her. They want to break the link, she said. And when they do, they won't just kill you, they'll do it in front of me, to destroy who I am. Ethan paused. You're not just their queen anymore. No, she whispered. Now I'm something dangerous. Because I chose you. That night? They left the cabin. Ethan packed quickly. Medical supplies, food, weapons. Soraka wrapped herself in a long cloak to hide her glow. They moved fast through the trees, taking hidden paths he used for hunting long ago. Where are we going? She asked. There's a cave system in the North Ridge, he replied. No drones can scan through that rock. We'll hide, plan, maybe reach someone who can help. But as they moved, Soraka felt a pull in her chest. The bond. It was weakening. She stopped. Ethan turned. What is it? They're doing something, she whispered. From orbit. A machine. Something that's draining the bond. It's making me weaker. If they force it to break, Ethan stepped close. We'll stop them. She looked into his eyes. I've never trusted anyone before, she said. Not even my royal guards. But you've done everything for me without asking anything in return. Just stay alive, he said simply. That's all I want. By morning they reached the cave. It was cold and dark, but deep. Just like Ethan had said, a place forgotten by time. Inside, they rested. Soraka's breathing was slow. Her glow flickered. "I don't have long," she said. "They're draining me with every hour. And if the bond breaks, my blood becomes unstable. My body won't survive the shock." Ethan turned to her. "Then there's one more thing we can do." She blinked. "What?" "Fight back, but not just run, not just hide." He reached into his bag and pulled out a small transmitter. "This can contact a resistance station on the outer belt. I served with them during the Terran Wars. If they get our signal, they'll come. Your people will come. To save an alien queen?" "No," Ethan said. "To save me." He activated the beacon. Far above Earth, a signal shot into the stars. At the same time, the Orillan warship received it. "They are in the caves," a soldier reported. The High General stood, his eyes cold. "Send the blade team. Bring them both." Hours passed. The cave grew colder. Ethan built a fire using dry moss and old wood. Soraka rested beside it. She looked up at him, her voice soft. "I was born in gold halls, fed by servants, worshipped, and yet I never felt safe." She touched the edge of the bond thread. "But here with you, in this dark, cold cave, I feel more protected than I ever did on my throne." Ethan looked at her. "You're not just a queen," he said. "You're a fighter." "And you?" she asked. "What are you really?" "Just a man," he said, "but one who's ready to take on an empire for you." She smiled faintly. Then her smile faded. The thread of light between them blinked. Then vanished. Soraka gasped. Ethan fell to his knees. "No, no," she cried, grabbing his hand. "They cut the bond." Ethan's breathing became heavy. His body trembled. "It hurts." She held his face with both hands. "Don't you leave me," she whispered. "Not now. Not after everything." Then suddenly, a blast shook the cave walls. They had found them. Soraka stood, her body shaking from pain and loss. But her voice was fire. "If they want you, they'll have to kill me first." The cave shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Stones cracked. Outside, a heavy sound echoed. Metal boots hitting the ground. Alien war drones. Elite assassins. The blade team had arrived. Soraka stood tall at the cave entrance. Her body was weak. The bond with Ethan had been cut, but her heart still burned with strength. Behind her, Ethan lay on the ground, gasping. His chest ached where the bond had broken. He tried to stand, but fell again. "Stay down," she said gently, not turning back. "This time, I will protect you." 3 armored aliens entered the cave, faces hidden, weapons raised. Their leader stepped forward. A deep voice echoed from his helmet. "Queen Soraka, you are no longer recognized by the Empire. Your throne has been given to your sister. Step aside. The human must die." Soraka raised her hand. A pulse of blue light burst from her palm. "You speak of thrones? Of betrayal," she shouted. "You dare stand before me and call yourselves loyal. You poisoned me. You hunted me. And now you want to kill the only one who showed me kindness?" The soldiers hesitated. One took a step forward. "He has touched your blood. It is law." Soraka's voice dropped. "Then I break your law." She turned, walked to Ethan, and dropped to her knees. She leaned down, placed her forehead against his, and whispered a single word in her language. The old tongue of queens. The bond reignited. A flash of blue fire exploded between them, throwing the soldiers back. Ethan opened his eyes, suddenly filled with light. His body steadied. His pain vanished. "What just happened?" he whispered. Soraka helped him sit up. Her eyes were glowing brighter than ever. "I completed the bond," she said. "Fully, willingly. Now it can't be broken. Not by machines. Not even death." The soldiers rose, shaking off the blast. One aimed a pulse cannon at Ethan. Soraka stepped in front of him. "Touch him, and I burn your world." The leader paused. Something was different now. She was no longer a fleeing queen, no longer a broken ruler. She had chosen a human, and in Arillan law, the queen's full bond was sacred and unstoppable. Not even a council could undo it. You would fight your own people? The leader asked. No, she said, but I will fight traitors. Behind her, Ethan finally stood. Then let's fight together. What happened next became legend. The cave exploded into a battle of light and fire. Ethan's rifle roared. Soraka's hands shimmered with ancient energy. Together they moved like one, her powers shielding, his bullets striking. The soldiers were fast, deadly, but they had no bond, and no heart. One by one, the invaders fell. Smoke filled the cave. The final soldier dropped his weapon and fell to his knees. I serve only the true queen, he said. Soraka stepped forward. Her voice was steady. Then carry this message to the stars. The queen lives. She chose her mate, and she chooses a future not of chains, but of freedom. Days later, a ship landed in the forest. Not an enemy ship, but a rebel vessel. Sent by Ethan's old allies from the Terran resistance. They came with medics, supplies, and an offer. Come with us, the captain said. We'll take you both off-world, start fresh, new name, new home. Soraka looked at Ethan. He smiled. Only if I get to bring my tools. I still fix things, you know. She nodded. Then maybe we fix a galaxy together. As the ship rose into the sky, the planet faded below them. In her hand, Soraka held Ethan's fingers. She no longer needed a throne. She had something better. A man who chose her when no one else did, and she gave her final command to the stars. Let this be known. The queen chose a human, and the stars shall never forget.